make it last. I'm talking literal. I call the shots, ready or not.
Please welcome to the stage EMEA Vice President of Enterprise Marketing at Adobe, Claire Louise Green.
Good morning, London. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Good morning, London. That's better. It is amazing to see you all here today. Whether you're here back again from last year, or it's your very first London Summit, you're exactly where you need to be. Today is not just another conference day. We will inform you, we will delight you, and we're going to help you take home something real. We're going to show you the technology live, right now. No smoke and mirrors. You'll hear directly from customers across the world's leading brands how they've taken the leap, how they made it work, and where it's taking them next. Today is the start of a journey. London, are you ready? Oh, come on. I think we need a bit more energy. London, are you ready? Okay. So, to kick us off today, I'm delighted to have Luc Deman, our president of EMEA Adobe. Then, honored to have Sky join us, such an iconic brand. Then, it's our turn to delight you and show you some live demonstrations across brand visibility, content supply chain, and customer engagement. So the question you may be asking, where are we at the moment? As this slide shares, pilots to scale. We've all spent the last couple of years having a go, experimenting with proof of concepts. That time mattered, but now it's ending. 2026 is a pivotal year, led by Adobe, and we are showing how to take pilots into scale. The shift is not easy. Only a quarter of organizations have made it proof of concepts into the real world. That's according to Deloitte's 2026 AI report. Although the shift is not easy, it is possible. Over the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of spending time with many CMOs. I was at VivaTech in Paris, and then Cannes Lions a couple of weeks ago. And believe me, it's as hot today as it was then. And the areas that are keeping these CMOs up at night are the following. First, visibility. How is my brand showing up when an AI agent goes looking for it? Visibility. Does your brand even show up when we're moving faster than ever before? Velocity is so important right now. How do we keep ahead of the change? And finally, vision. What does it mean to lead through this era? Not just implement it, but to lead through it. At this UK summit, we are going to provide you with all the solutions. Tesco's. Who knows Tesco's? Well, they were here with us on stage last year. And here's why this partnership excites us so much. Tesco has 24 million household members, and I know me and my family are one of them. And we've been working together on this amazing partnership to build an AI partnership to last. In April this year, it took liftoff. The outcome of this partnership is what really, truly matters. We're using Adobe's CX Enterprise Agentic AI capabilities, and Adobe's Firefly Foundry to bring Tesco's customer intelligence, used responsibly, to help them deliver the right recipe idea, the right cost saving to the right customer at the right time, surrounded by an on-brand and a true scale of personalization that brand demands. We have liftoff with Tesco's. And in order to keep that ball in motion, Tesco's and Adobe have created a brand new innovation lab to continually monitor and adapt to new technology that's happening in the era of AI. Adobe's engineers and Tesco's own personalization and AI teams, shoulder to shoulder, one mission, not a vendor, not a client, one unified team together. Today, we will realize that the question is no longer, do I need AI? But rather, how fast can I implement it? Tesco is just one example of this shift. Today, you'll hear from other leading world brands and how they're turning these pilots into scale. That is the spirit of Summit. That is the spirit of this moment. The era of AI experimentation is over. It's all about execution. London, let's get started. Please welcome onto stage our Adobe president, Luc Deman.
Thank you, Claire Louise. Good morning, everyone. It is great to be in London. How do you keep up with customer expectations? How do you keep up with the pace of technology? And more importantly, in this defining moment, how do you turn it into growth and real competitive advantage? I know that question is top of mind for a lot of you in this room, because really, rightfully so, this moment is different. AI is reshaping how people discover, engage, and buy from brands, all at once and faster than anyone have anticipated. Every organization here today is at that turning point. That turning point, one that will decide who leads in the next decade. And today, I will share Adobe's vision for future of customer experience in the era of agentic AI and how we can win together. For marketers in the room, speed, personalization, and craft all have to coexist. That is your moment, and that is our moment together, actually. So there are three major shifts that are driving that turning point. First, brand visibility is being rewritten by LLMs. For more than 2 decades, digital marketing has been built around a relatively simple idea. People search, brands compete to be found, and customers choose. Straightforward, right? Today, that model no longer holds. AI-driven traffic to retail sites jumped nearly 400% in the first few months of 26. Crucially, conversion rates for AI search were 42% higher than traditional search. So what does this tell us? Customers don't just use this platform, they trust them. They are turning to AI assistant and generative search to help them decide. And for the first time, machines are becoming the primary bridge between brands and consumers. In fact, 80% of consumers now rely on AI-written results for nearly 40% of their searches. And that's cutting already organic web traffic by up to 25%. So that is significant. So AI doesn't just retrieve information anymore. It recommends, it influences. In many cases, it decides which brands make it into consideration. But the bigger story isn't the traffic. It is the shift in behavior. Discovery is literally delegated now, which means companies must totally rethink brand visibility in this AI world. Success will depend on how well your data, content, and experiences can be understood and surfaced by intelligent systems. The second shift is even more profound. AI is moving beyond content creation and productivity. It's really beginning to participate in decision-making, moving from being an assistant to becoming a co-worker. We're already seeing AI agents helping teams optimize campaigns, analyze performance, recommend actions, and automate workflows. Today, 34% of enterprise marketing teams run at least one autonomous agent, so that's more than double versus last year, which I think was 14%. Because the future is not human versus AI. It is human working alongside AI. And the organization that succeeds won't simply deploy more technology for the sake of technology. They will redesign how work gets done. They will create new operating models where people and intelligent agents collaborate to achieve outcomes faster and more efficiently than either could alone. So that multiplier effect is what makes agentic AI different. It is not another technology upgrade. It is not a technology rollout. It is a transformation. It is a new way of operating your business. Third, the third shift is really about the explosion of content and consumption channels, making it harder for brands to stand out. You all marketers tell us that content demand will keep growing 5x over the next 2 years. That's a continuum, and it accelerates. AI makes content easier to generate, yes, but every piece still has to be on brand and right for each customer. This means the number of customer journeys a marketer needs to manage is increasingly exponentially, and you all face that challenge. Just to give you a sense of scale, Adobe's Black Friday's campaign requires up to 20,000 asset variations localized across 72 countries, 34 languages, and across 50 channels. So I'm sure many of you in this room can relate to that scale, to that complexity. Measurement, attribution, calculating return on ad spend, all this is becoming much more complex as a result. But volume alone is not enough to succeed. Every experience must feel timely, it must feel relevant, it must feel more and more tailored and in the moment. Which means all of this requires enterprise to rethink how they engage customers. Because customers no longer compare your experience to their experience to your competitor. They compare it to the best experience they had recently, whether that's Netflix, Amazon, or your favorite retailer. That is the benchmark. And every interaction raises expectation for the next. You all know that meaning the expectation is getting far more complex. Your customers is moving across multiple journeys, multiple channels, multiple products and services. And yet, they expect one connected experience. That's why segmentation at scale is no longer good enough. The goal is really now true one-on-one personalization. The promise of segment of one is now at reach. Not a campaign blasted to a segment, but a moment shaped for one person receiving it. And that makes a whole difference. And that's not just a marketing challenge to implement. That's actually an enterprise challenge. Because achieving this level of personalization at scale requires a system that combines the simplicity of conversational AI with the power and precision of purpose-built tools. So the organization that succeeds won't be the one that creates the most content. They'll be the one that orchestrates journeys, audiences, channels, and products in real time, turning that whole complexity into relevance, and that relevance into a sustainable competitive advantage. That is the game now. But taken together, this shift creates one major challenge. How do you orchestrate millions of customer interactions across channels, content, data, and touchpoint in real time? Not occasionally, continuously. This is why we firmly believe customer experience orchestration will become one of the defining enterprise capabilities of the AI era. Because customers don't experience organization in silos. They experience a single brand, a single relationship, and a single journey. And increasingly, they expect every interaction to be relevant, connected, and intelligent. And that is precisely the vision behind Adobe CX Enterprise, our agentic system that simplifies our enterprise, orchestrates the entire customer lifecycle from prospect to loyalty, and it's built for scale, speed, and trust. And it brings together three critical capabilities. Brand visibility to stay discoverable in an AI-driven world. Real-time customer engagement to deliver true one-on-one personalization, conversational experiences that will build long-lasting relationships and loyalty. And third, an AI-powered content supply chain to meet the fast-growing demand for high-quality content. But beyond capabilities, the real challenge organizations face is the fragmentation. We are very conscious of that, and the complexity of the technology landscape. You all live that on your everyday life. Multiple platforms, multiple AI models, new agents every day, disparate workflows. So what organizations need is openness, flexibility, and interoperability, right? That's why Adobe is building an open ecosystem, partnering with industry leaders including NVIDIA, Anthropic, Microsoft, OpenAI. And rather than asking our customers to choose between models or platforms, Adobe brings them together. We are meeting our customers where they are, because that's what matters today. That same philosophy applies to Adobe CX Enterprise Coworker. I'm really excited about Coworker. You will see that in a minute. It's a specialized AI agent that executes tasks based on business goals, drastically increasing productivity and campaign execution. It's helping teams move from coordinating workflows to orchestrating impactful experiences. So you set the goal, and Coworker lays out the strategy, the execution plan, and it orchestrates multi-agent collaboration. And the response we have had for the 150 customers who joined our early adoption program has been tremendous. So rather than describing it, let's just show it live. Please join me in welcoming Adobe's Director of CX Enterprise Evangelism, Gina Casagrande. Gina, join me.
I'm excited to show you Adobe CX Enterprise, a purpose-built agentic system that helps marketing teams boost brand visibility, accelerate the content supply chain, and personalize customer engagement. I'd like to thank Marriott Bonvoy for allowing us to use their brand to showcase this vision and to let you know the data is fictitious. But imagine, if you will, with me, the London Tube. I'm sure some of you don't have to imagine it that much because you probably took it here today. But as riders, we only see the journey. But behind every trip, there's a connected system keeping everything running smoothly. And that's how CX Enterprise works, connecting data, content, decisioning, and orchestration behind every customer experience. So let's take a look at the tube map of CX Enterprise, and then let's go for a ride and see it in action. This is my personalized CX Enterprise. It shows me everything the team and I are working on, including proactive insights and recommended actions. Instead of waking up in the mornings wondering where to focus, CX Enterprise shows me where I can make the biggest impact. And behind the scenes is this growing catalog of agents and skills, including those that are out of the box from Adobe and these that are purpose-built from Marriott. Now, the intelligence from CX Enterprise Coworker orchestrates across all of them, pulling in exactly the right expertise at the right moment to automate complex business processes. But I'm in control. I set the guardrails for what it can do, all within our enterprise-grade governance, permissions, and policies. Now, these are the projects that my team and I currently have in flight. And these bring together people, agents, and of course the data, content, and business context into a shared workspace that has everything all connected. Now here in my daily digest, I see my manager has flagged this for me to action. And I can use the coworker chat to explore these insights in this immersive chat experience. And coworker pulls in the context and takes action. In this case, it's tapping into the CX analytics agents and automates a root cause analysis. Let's take a look. So here we have this hybrid view of the coworker chat, and I can see my insights a little further. Now, it's showing that there's a spike in organic traffic, but it's not leading to more bookings. And it's connected the dot to a popular TV series that's filming in the region, and it's got everyone dreaming about the Riviera. It's really trending on social. The only challenge for us is that they're bouncing. So not only does Coworker tell us what's happening, but it tells us what to do about it. In this case, it's saying, first thing, quick fix, optimize the landing page, and fix that bounce rate. But then there's also a bigger opportunity here where we can plan an acquisition campaign and really capitalize on that social trend. So first, let's optimize the destination page. And now agents get to work applying quick fixes to the South of France page. Let's take a look. Now here we see the before, and this is the after. Now this page has been optimized, pulling in existing assets from our dam that are more relevant to the Riviera Dreamers. More asset reuse means less wasted budget. I'm sure my manager is going to love that. Now, I like the images, but I want some more film and luxury themed headlines. So I'll use this in-context coworker chat to have some suggested options. And here we see a couple of options. I like this one, number 2. No spoilers, just luxury in the Riviera. And we see that it's applied right here on the page. Looks great. Let's go ahead and publish. Now, before the page goes live, an autonomous pre-flight check validates accessibility, SEO and generative guidelines, and more. I know it would flag any issues to me before it sets the page live. But there are none. That's great. We just optimized our brand visibility, ensuring this landing page is discoverable by agents and more relevant to humans. Next up, let's plan that acquisition campaign with the team. What's great is I don't start from scratch. CX Enterprise provides these acquisition project templates to help get me started. Now, I can view all of the templates in case there's another one I want to use, or I can see if there's an existing project that my team is running that I might want to tweak. But actually, this acquisition workflow from EMEA looks like it might be the right one. And you can see that it's actually applied the conversation from my chat right here into the template, so I can see what it'll look like. And here in this workflow preview, this is where it's going to show me how my team and agents will do the work and where the coworker will automate it. This looks like the right project, so let's go ahead and use it, and we'll kick it off. And the first step is to build out our strategic campaign brief. Now, building coworker builds on our prior Workfront briefs to pull in Marriott-specific KPIs, audience insights, and data from across the system, so I'm starting from an informed canvas, not a blank one. I'm going to go ahead and add my team, and we're going to ideate, we can collaborate, and we'll build out our strategic campaign brief. And we see that right here with the KPIs, our goals, our audience, and more. And I'll publish it back into the system, and let's take a preview. Now, agents created the projects and tasks and assigned resources based on availability. This looks great. We're seeing it in our project. Workflow is ready to go. I'll kick it off, and multiple tasks begin simultaneously. Luke, our designer, is working on the hero assets, while Coworker is starting to build out our audiences and journey. And Coworker keeps me in the loop in key moments. In this case, it's found a new audience using the Marriott Service Agent. It's something I wouldn't have even thought to look at. Using call center, chat interaction, and semantic data signals, it's found a fast-growing audience that just hit our profile threshold. It's almost as if coworkers tapping me on the shoulder saying, "Hey, Gina, don't forget about these guys." And I love that. That's the power of this agentic system. The opportunities find me. So I'm going to go ahead and add that new audience. That's a no-brainer. Now, Luke and the design team have finished and approved the hero assets. Now the Firefly Creative Production Agent is building out these multi-channel variants. And it's using Adobe Brand Intelligence to both generate and validate these assets, so I'm confident they're on brand. And now that we have the content ready and our targeted audiences, they're going to be applied to this journey. Let's take a look. Okay, so here is our outbound journey. And this is where Adobe Engagement Intelligence decisioning capabilities are going to check for audience overlap, journey prioritization, and then apply optimizations around timing and channels and the experiences for each individual to deliver true one-to-one personalization. I'm going to go ahead and simulate this for predicted performance to make sure it hits our benchmarks. Everything looks green. The content's been applied. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and publish. Amazing. Just like that, we've gone from a signal to a fully orchestrated campaign. CX Enterprise and the Coworker help me and my team optimize for brand visibility, streamline the content supply chain, and deliver intelligent customer engagements. Now, over time, we're going to want to understand how it's performing, so I can hop on a call with my team. And here, because CX Enterprise skills extend into the Microsoft ecosystem, I can use Copilot Cowork right here to surface performance insights. I'll ask to show me how the Riviera Hotels campaign is performing, revenue per audience per channel. And just like that, I get the latest insights right within the tools my team and I use every day. That's great. It's asking if I want to generate a PDF report. I do, and I also want to schedule a recurring meeting with my ops team and send this report as a pre-read. Now, CX Enterprise is going to work with Microsoft Work IQ to understand who's on the team, what needs to go into the report, and how to format it based on the brand guidelines. What used to be a very complex, multi-application and manual task, I was just able to accomplish in a single prompt. And this is all made possible because here in Copilot Cowork, Adobe CX Enterprise plugin makes this available. And this is how we're bringing the power of Adobe CX Enterprise to users wherever they work. And there you have it. Adobe CX Enterprise is our agentic system helping human expertise and AI come together to surface opportunities, orchestrate action, and deliver business impact. This is customer experience orchestration in the era of agentic AI. Back to you, Luke.
Thank you, Gina. London, what do you think? Pretty powerful, right? Come on, pretty powerful, right? Yes, I'm excited about it. What you have just seen is more than a product demo, right? It's a glimpse into how enterprise will operate in the years ahead. A future where AI doesn't replace people. It accelerates what people can do. Where marketers spend less time navigating complexity and more time creating value. Where teams can focus on strategy, on creativity, on innovation, while intelligent systems help execute at scale. At Adobe, we have been helping organizations navigate moments of transformation for decades. We help businesses build digital creativity. We empowered organizations to put customer data to work. We pioneered real-time customer experience through our Adobe Experience Platform, which, by the way, is now powering more than 1 trillion experiences a year. And now, we're entering the next chapter. It is human-enabled and agent-accelerated. That's a real opportunity for organizations here in the UK. You heard Claire Louise talk about the ambitious partnership that we have with Tesco. You will hear very shortly from Sky. It's very exciting, the pace of innovation happening in this region. And the executive conversation have shifted really to how do we focus on value? How do we create that faster? How do we scale? How do we move quickly without losing trust? And how do we rethink the operating model? Those are the right questions, because sustainable advantage won't come from adopting AI for its own sake. As we said, it's not a technology rollout. It's a real transformation. It will come from applying AI to solve really meaningful business problems. That's where the value lies, to improve customer experiences and to make it a lever for growth, not just efficiency. The winners won't simply be the most technology advanced, the one that deploy the most AI models. They will be the one that combine innovation with responsibility, speed with trust, and automation with that human creativity that is true to your own brand DNA. And at Adobe, we believe that the future belongs to those who will turn intelligence into experience. Organizations that can orchestrate every customer interaction with relevance, creativity, and purpose. As agentic AI reshapes creativity and marketing, we are committed to empowering every enterprise in this room to harness its potential responsibly and with confidence. It starts here, it starts with you, it starts with Adobe, so let's build it together. Thank you, everyone. With that, I'll turn over to Nathan. Nathan, over to you.
Well, good morning, Summit London. My name is Nathan Hancock, and I lead Adobe here in the UK, Ireland, Middle East, and Africa. And it is amazing to look over this audience of over 3,000 people filled with marketers, technologists, and creatives across some of the most beloved brands in the UK, Ireland, Middle East, and Africa, and broader in Europe. I'm really excited about our next guest. She's the managing director at Sky for routes to revenue, performance, and ultimately the growth that powers this incredible brand. Sky needs no introduction, but they are one of the most powerful media and entertainment businesses, both within the UK and globally, and is building strength upon strength as they further expand their impact and move the market. At a time of intense competition, Sky has made AI-enabled marketing and communication, creativity, and engagement the core to helping customers to believe in better.
It's time.
We'll start with breaking news.
Absolutely irrepressible.
Happy.
Only Sky brings Disney+, HBO Max, Netflix, and HeyU together for £24 a month.
New star is born. And it's 2 in a row for Rory. Masters champion. Live from
You've got to have something they need.
What's that?
Me.
Okay, stand by. Here we go.
Quite extraordinary event.
The cameras are poised here, there, everywhere.
First question, Sky News.
Do you hate the thought of losing to him?
I hate the thought of losing to anyone.
Only Sky Business Mobile rolls over any unused data and automatically shares it with your team.
Thank you.
Summit London, please join me in welcoming to the stage Siobhan, Macmillan, Dan, or as we at Adobe lovingly refer to her, Siobhan, MFD. Well, good morning, Siobhan. How are you?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the stage. Maybe if you can start off by helping the audience know a little bit more about your role at Sky.
Sure. So the job title is almost as long as the sun.
Yeah.
So well done for giving it a go. Hey, everyone. I'm Siobhan. I've got the immense pleasure of looking after how our customers choose to buy or engage across all of our channels at Sky. So digital, our retail physical footprint, our voice and telephony channels, and our partner channels. And my brilliant team are focused on, I guess, two key things: growing today, but also making sure we've got the right experiences ready for the future and for tomorrow, so we're always showing up for customers in the best way.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, Sky is renowned as one of the best brand builders globally, and right now we're living in the heart of change. How do you think about navigating this next era of Sky's evolution?
Yeah, right. Sky has always been, very focused on innovation. It's in our DNA. It's in everything we do. And we're really proud of the strength of our brand. But I think, as we've already heard today, and as we all know, the environment that we're in is shifting, has shifted significantly. Whether that is how much discovery has fragmented, how hard it is to gain attention, the fact that attention is no longer human attention that we're looking for, but also humans, AI, agents, algorithms, whatever it might be. So it's shifted, but I think more importantly, actually what our customers expect of us has changed significantly, right? And that's what we're really focused on at Sky. We want customer to be our superpower, And we are really, really focused on making sure we can connect our products, connect our journeys, and make sure we're showing up for customers in the moments that matter. Sometimes that's going to be using great AI. Sometimes it's going to be using brilliant human craft. But that is what we are squarely focused on. And I guess to bring that to life a little bit, we've heard a bit today about AI search and the focus on LLMs and how we all show up there. That's incredibly important to us. We're spending a lot of time and energy there. We're doing some of that together. But actually, for me, I don't just want to make sure we're showing up in that last moment in those LLMs. I want to make sure we're inspiring right at the top of the funnel. And so making sure we're really focused on full funnel marketing. And again, how we show up for customers in a really relevant, really joined up way. That is where the magic happens. That's where we're focused.
Well, you talk about magic, and obviously, Sky is known for magic, and obviously from an entertainment perspective, creativity is at the core. But you spent a little bit of time there talking about the importance of humans working with AI and protecting your brand and driving that creativity. A lot of folks in the room today are really concerned about what will AI do to the craft. Right. And obviously, you're living at the heart of that craft. How do you think about being able to manage between the two?
Yeah, look, the way we think, AI raises the bar for creativity. It doesn't lower it, right? It's not about, and I think we heard it from Luke earlier, it's not about AI or humans. It really is about bringing those things together. We believe passionately in the power of human storytelling. And we are really fortunate to have a great group of people in our organization who are brilliant at finding what's going to resonate with humans, what's going to resonate with our customers and with the broader British public, and how do we tell great stories. So human craft isn't going anywhere. It's an incredibly important part of this. Now, look, AI is, of course, helpful, right, in a number of ways, whether it's smoothing workflows and just making them more efficient, whether it's the variant piece that we've talked about, or actually whether it is great connection between creative and data. And so being able to bring those two together, I think, is really important. We're spending a lot of time as a team at the moment looking at workflows, looking at how long it takes to create campaign variants. And what strikes me is never, gosh, we could save loads of time. It's actually the time that we could create for people to spend on the idea up front.
I love that.
And so I think that's how we're thinking about it. And again, we're really lucky at Sky. We have a brilliant in-house creative team who have always been at the forefront of technology and aren't showing any signs of slowing down. We've got an incredible group of marketeers who are so passionate about what they do, about our customers, and we're fortunate to have great partners that are helping us smooth the process.
Well, you talked a little bit about some of the efficiency elements. How do we smooth workflows? How do we drive operational cost savings? But I love that 90% of what you just said is really about driving that deeper connection, leveraging the human intellect, the human creativity to effectively power growth. Effectively, you can't save yourself, save your way to growth. And I love that that's the focus. How do you think about the potential, if you will, around what AI can do to help you drive growth in a way that without AI wasn't perhaps possible before?
Yeah, right. And any tech, any new moment in tech, I guess the first thing people go to is efficiency.
Yeah.
They're the easiest use cases a lot of the time, the quickest wins. But it can't be where we're focused, and it certainly isn't from our perspective. I think one of the shifts we have to make, and as I guess a group of people in the UK, is to think about this more through the lens of what's genuinely going to help our customers, right? What are the problems they are trying to how do we need to help them solve those problems? What are our business problems?
Empathetic AI.
Right, but how can AI or just really great tech or intelligence help us solve those things? Yeah. It's not tech for tech's sake. So I think that's really important. I would say, though, I think the ability of AI to help us grow is linked to the scale that we can create. And I don't think that is just about the scale of creativity and variance, albeit that's really important. It's actually the scale of audience that I think we can reach, that we can create, and we can be focused on. So, yeah, for me, efficiency is actually a relatively small part of the puzzle, much more focused on how we can drive value and help our customers but even better.
I love that. Yeah, one of the things I think that I'm constantly finding myself in conversations with customer executives, CEOs, is the transition that we're seeing in AI. And that's a move really from what I'll call boardroom magic tricks. Here's the list of 1,000 pilots we're running. Look at this neat thing I built. All of that is great, right? It drives inspiration, drives a little bit of the spark of creativity. But one of the things I think we're starting to see change is that to make an impact that really moves the needle for the CEOs, for the board, for your customers, you have to put AI at the heart. Right. Whether that's cost savings or really the acceleration from a growth perspective that obviously you lead across Sky. And as we think about that, I'm reminded of the conversation I had with your group CEO, Dana, a few weeks ago at the Enders Conference. And I loved one of the things she said, and I'd love you to expand on it, was this: we've got to move out of tactical engagements, tactical, transactional types of engagements with our partners, and really focus. To go fast, we have to have deep partnerships that drive really co-innovation. How do we work together? Because to move at the pace of AI, ultimately you have to effectively invest in what you're great at, right, and know who you are. Sky knows who who they are. I'd love to understand how you think about partnerships in your job driving operations and growth at the heart of Sky.
Right, and we talk about this quite a lot, right?
We do.
And Dana articulated it brilliantly. I think for us, you just have to look through our history. Partnerships have always been important. If you look at the partnerships, the relationships we've built with sport across Europe and the UK particularly, Premier League, Formula One, that's something that's always been really important to us. I do think the moment we're in now for all of us means we have to be much more focused on that. And, to the point, it has to be deeper. It can't just be a kind of a vendor-client partnership. It's the next level of detail. And it also isn't partnership for partnership's sake, right? It's been really clear on what are our strengths, where are the areas we need support, and also just acknowledging that no one organization today has all of the answers, right? And the moment we're in is ever evolving. So being able to do that jointly with partners is really important. There is that saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. As you know, I want both. And so it is about, it is about how do we choose the right partners? Because I think in that partnership space, your partners can really challenge your thinking. They can make it better. They can raise your ambition, and they can help you achieve your outcomes in a better way and faster. So that's how we're thinking about it, and it remains really important.
Yeah, and as you talk about being pushed. Obviously, we as partners push each other, and we have that strong relationship that's, we're extremely proud to be working with Sky and to have worked with Sky for over 10 years now. And that partnership continues to deepen and deepen, and we push each other. But really, the market is also driving an incredible force. I mean, in your business right now, new creators, new channels are popping up every other minute, and they can scale incredibly quickly. And with the power of AI, it becomes a new threat. And a lot of, I think, the marketers, creatives, and technologists in the room are facing that same kind of threat. What I've been amazed about at Sky is how you I think go in with a level of sort of pessimism about knowing everything, so that humility and saying, look, we don't know, as you just stated, right? We don't know, we may not have all the ideas figured out, but you've really leaned into, we have to embrace this, we have to figure out how to get it done. But as you think about the folks in the room, they're tackling and struggling a bit right now in many cases, others are thriving. What is the difference in your view? And I know this is a little bit of fortune telling, but what is your view on, based on the work you've already done at Sky and working at the frontier of this transformation and such a big brand, what will make the difference between those that thrive and perhaps struggle to do so?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one we spend a lot of time reflecting on. I think for me there's a few bits to this, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier on. I think those that focus on novelty aren't necessarily going to be the ones that win.
Magic tricks.
Right, magic tricks, whether in the boardroom or just a long series of pilots. I think people that are really focused on what do customers need and how can you genuinely improve your product and your organization are going to be among those that thrive. The businesses that can focus on, I need scale, here's how I can achieve that. The businesses that are really focused on, I have this data connectivity challenge, how can I solve that? And then the bit I would build on it is I think we need to talk more about humans in this technology transformation, in this moment that we're in. I think businesses that win and thrive are going to not be the businesses that have the best technology. They're going to be the businesses that have the best technology driven by the best people and in organizations that have spent time to rethink process. I really don't believe that we can win without our team. And at Sky, we're really focused on that. We're really focused on upskilling. It's like 150,000 hours of AI upskilling that we're doing. We want to make sure our teams feel proud of the tools that we're putting in their hands and that we're always looking forward. I genuinely think this next era is not going to be for lack of tech. It's going to be for lack of imagination and leadership. So for me, that's really important. And I would just say to everyone, get hands-on. I think this is a real moment from a leadership standpoint that's moving away from putting, agentic on the PowerPoint slide and actually getting into the tools yourself, making mistakes, asking for help, learning at the same time as your team. I think those kind of cultures where vulnerability and curiosity thrive are really going to be the ones that win.
Yeah, absolutely. We often talk about the fact that technology is almost the easier part of the AI transformation, that it's really the operating model. How do you move into an agile way of working? And I love the work that you've done with your team at Sky, not just the focus on the customers, but really bringing them along on the journey, helping to embrace their creativity, putting the right tools, but also the right enablement in place so that the team can effectively feel like they're empowered to make the difference and that they stay involved. It's, I think, a really great story for all of us to hear. The last thing I'll touch on today is responsible use. Obviously, IP, the brand, critical, crucial to what you do at Sky. But also, I love the empathy you have for your customers and that there's a responsible way to engage them. Obviously, obeying the law is sort of table stakes. Beyond that, though, is where it gets a lot harder, right? You hear about AI slop. You hear about, a lot of the content that can be produced that effectively flattens the creativity. How do you think about the combination of maintaining that creative edge? You spoke a little bit about that before, but also responsible use of agents at the scale that you're driving?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot it's a great question. There's a lot that could be said on it. Trust is built over years and lost in seconds, right? And so making sure whatever we do, it's not just about the pace that we do it, it is the way that we do it, the how. I come back to that point on making sure our team feel ready and confident in what they're doing. I think that's going to be a big part of it. I do also think it's an acknowledgement that the moment we're in from a technology standpoint, it's been described as the dial-up era of AI, right? Like where we are right now is going to be comparable to a 1998 website. Let's be really clear. Like it's good, it's functional. It's not where the whole thing's going. So I come back to partnerships and I come back to, the ecosystems that you exist in. I think we all have to open up a little bit. I think we have to be willing to hear feedback and to acknowledge that we're not going to get it all right, but we have to be really, really focused on that responsibility. We could talk about governance and guardrails and all of those really exciting things, but they are important, and I don't think they've ever been more important than in this moment.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Siobhan, thank you so much for taking the time to meet and greet 3,000 of your new closest friends.
My best friends.
And sharing these insights. Obviously, there's a lot to grapple with, and you guys are doing tremendous. I think, obviously, the success at Sky is something to behold, and really do appreciate you sharing your insights with the team and with me today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So thank you, Siobhan, and really terrific insights from Siobhan. The work that they're doing at Sky is absolutely groundbreaking, and excited to be working with them and excited to be able to share a lot of those insights with all of you from a powerhouse in industry. And to talk about some of the product innovations that we at Adobe have worked with those likes of Sky, and we mentioned Tesco earlier, that can help you to achieve these same types of outcomes. Please welcome to the stage Eric Matisoff.
All right, thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Sky. What a great conversation. How are we doing, London? Are we still tired from that World Cup game the other day? How are we doing, London? I know nobody's tired from watching the US game last night. I'm certainly not. So hello, it's so nice to be here. My name's Eric Matisoff, and earlier, Luke set the vision for the agentic enterprise. It was really interesting to watch, lots of exciting things going on. And now is my favorite part of the day, where we bring that vision and meet it with product. So it's time to make it real. So let's start with why this moment specifically is a little different. Everything that we do at Adobe is built on a foundation that we've been investing in for years. Today, that foundation holds over 330 terabytes of data. That's a lot of data, more than you have on your phone. It drives more than 70 billion profile activations and over 1 trillion experiences every single year. Now that, my friends, that's just simply the data foundation that we've built. On top of it, we've added an agentic acceleration layer. The early results, they truly speak for themselves. Customers are seeing 3 times the productivity, 6 times the speed, and they're building 3 times more campaigns. And the brands that you see up here, they're already on that journey with us. So how does it all fit together? Well, my friends, this is Adobe CX Enterprise. Think of it as a single end-to-end agentic system for customer experience. We're orchestrating the entire life cycle from that very first impression all the way through to customer loyalty. CX Enterprise brings together 3 pillars, and you're going to hear these a lot today: brand visibility, customer engagement, and the content supply chain, with Adobe CX Analytics giving you a single view across all of them. Underneath Adobe CX Analytics is our Adobe AI platform. This is your CX Enterprise coworker, Adobe and third-party agents, skills, tools, and MCPs. Together, they work with Adobe Brand Intelligence and Adobe Engagement Intelligence, and they sit on Adobe Experience Platform, that platform that we've been talking about for years. So here's what makes all of this super powerful. Number 1, it's open. Our agents don't just work with Adobe agents, they interoperate with your agents, your software that you rely on, your cloud platforms, your system integrators, and your agencies. We've built native integrations with AI tools that your teams are already using today, because the principle underneath all of this is really simple. Agents are only ever as good as the context and the governance behind them. And that is our difference at Adobe. AI that is grounded in your brand, your data, and your guardrails. So let's come back to those pillars, and we're going to bring each of them to life. Brand visibility makes sure that you're found, that you're chosen, wherever discovery is happening today. Customer engagement is connected, personalized journeys and audiences made available in real time. And then the content supply chain. This is the on-brand content that powers it all at scale. And so I'd like to actually dig into each of these one by one. So for each pillar, I'm going to do 3 things. Number 1, I want to set out why it matters. Then we're going to see it live with a customer demo that I'm very excited about, showing the key innovations that you need to know about from Adobe. And then we'll highlight all of those innovations individually for each pillar. Now, trust me, there's far more than we can cover just this morning, so make sure that you take the opportunity this afternoon to spend time in our strategy keynotes, our breakouts, working with our experts, our partners, our activations, in the demo stations, and in the community pavilion. So let's kick things off with brand visibility. This is about making sure that your brand is found, understood, and recommended wherever your customers, and increasingly their AI agents, are looking. And it's a dual challenge, right? You need to be visible and trusted across these AI platforms, and you need to deepen engagement on your own properties at the same time. Now, there are 3 big shifts that are happening here. Number 1, brand discovery. The top of the funnel is moving and shifting from SEO and SEM and display towards LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and beyond, Gemini and beyond. Second, we're seeing agentic automation. These are where agents are now arriving at your site in sub-seconds, and they decide what to recommend, so your content has to be ready and agent accessible in real time. The third key aspect here is conversational experiences. Every website should now have a conversation as a first-party citizen connected to the profile and the journey. To show us the opportunity here, we're excited to highlight Heathrow Airport, where I'll be heading to in just a few hours. And we're using Adobe technology there to the tune of a 60% increase in average spend per consumer. To see how brand visibility technologies are available, please welcome Ed Rumsey.
Hi, London. Firstly, I would like to thank Heathrow Airports for allowing us to use their brand to bring today's vision demo to life. All of the data in today's demo is fictitious, but the use cases are very real. brand visibility is being redefined, no longer just what people see, but what AI understands and recommends. Today, I'm going to show you how Adobe is reimagining visibility and site creation for the agentic web. So let's dive in. So I'm really excited for a trip I have coming up in a couple of weeks, but I'm a bit of a nervous traveler, so I want to make sure that I'm really prepared for my trip. Like many people these days, I turn to ChatGPT to help me plan. I ask, I'm flying from London to Singapore next month. How early should I arrive, and what service should I book to make this trip easier? There are a lot of great recommendations. Fast-track security, premium lounges, Heathrow Express, and other Heathrow services are recommended because Adobe Brand Visibility ensures that Heathrow content is discoverable in moments of traveler intent. Heathrow doesn't just show up in ChatGPT, it stands out and gets recommended. There's just one problem, though. I'm not sure which one of these services is right for my specific trip. Thankfully, Heathrow has an LLM app built with Adobe Experience Manager. I can interact with Heathrow without ever leaving ChatGPT. I put in my flight details and my traveler preferences, and Heathrow recommends me the best lounge for my terminal and also helps me reserve fast-track security. The request is sent directly to Heathrow without me ever leaving ChatGPT. This LLM app allows Heathrow to own part of the customer experience, even though I was interacting with an LLM interface, allowing marketers to leverage existing content and services in this emerging channel. Now, this experience was quick and seamless, but how did Heathrow ensure they were part of the conversation? Adobe makes brand visibility on LLMs simple, actionable, and measurable with our new Adobe Brand Visibility offering. Here, I can see agentic traffic. These are AI agents visiting my site, gathering information, and deciding whether to recommend me or not. And here, I can track human engagement and referral traffic, so I can see which LLMs are driving what action on my site. That's AI discovery and human conversion in a single place. And now you can directly connect referral traffic with behavior from customer journey analytics or Adobe Analytics so you can make the best decision with the most accurate data available. Speaking of data, I am thrilled to announce that we now provide insight from SEMrush directly here in Adobe Brand Visibility. So giving you actionable data into visibility and market comparison. So this allows you to drill down and see, whilst doing prompt research, to uncover important prompts and topics that my competitors might be showing up in today that I'm not, and take action against them. And here, I see historical data surrounding brand visibility, AI visibility, audiences, and mentions, so I can see exactly how my brand is performing. But insight alone doesn't move the needle. Action does. Adobe Brand Visibility automatically identifies both on-site and off-site opportunities for action. And SEMrush data is here too. So that means real prompt data, market intelligence, and competitive intelligence, so you can have the full picture that you need to boost your brand visibility. This is how brands prepare for the agentic web. Now, here I can see that Heathrow services need improving in prompts like best airport lounges for families in London, or how to avoid long security lines at Heathrow. In short, the Heathrow service details pages aren't optimized for LLM discovery. Now, the Heathrow services will show up in LLM recommendations when they're supposed to, so the Heathrow brand will remain in the conversation. And Adobe Brand Visibility doesn't just stop there. It also gives the next step and recommends content changes. And if that wasn't easy enough, then opportunities come with a single, easy-click deployment. from insights to optimized to verified impact in seconds. Now, I'm going to show you how Adobe, as a true agentic CMS, can build and orchestrate this entire experience in just a few minutes. Let's start in the Adobe Experience Hub. So family summer holidays are in full swing, and Adobe Brand Visibility has detected an increase in AI searches. The system is recommending that we capitalize on this interest before the trend peaks. So let's create a landing page based off of this insight. I can edit this plan at any point, and the assistant will agentically create these variants in just a few seconds, and they'll be ready for review. Great. The assistant has created a Heathrow family travel experience with terminal guidance, family-friendly services, and campaign-specific call to actions. The content looks pretty good, but I want to just change this headline to be a bit more inspiring. The first one is perfect. Now, I want to see all the edits I've made during my session. Great. I can pick and choose which updates I want to keep. So I could publish one generic page globally, but instead, I'm going to ask the assistant to create variants for 2 specific traveler audiences. Cool. So now, the North American travelers will receive an experience emphasizing international connections and Heathrow Express, whilst the Asia-Pacific travelers will receive a completely different experience. The assistant adjusts the content to match the personas and improve customer experience. But before publishing, Adobe Brand Visibility has detected prospective AI referral traffic. So I'm going to enable generative content on my site. And this is going to be important in just a second. Great. I was able to build this entire experience in just a few minutes. AI supercharged my time and creativity. But I'm not going to stop there, because customers expect personalized experiences. Remember that I just enabled generative content on my page? That means the content will automatically adjust in real time for what the customer wants to see. So if I come in with one specific intent, such as family traveler, like I have here, then this is my experience. Different context, and here is my new experience. The layout has changed, and even product descriptions have been augmented as an inexperienced traveler. Now, you might be thinking, Adobe's always been great at real-time personalization. How is this any different? Well, all of this content was automatically generated with generative AI to fit the specific customer in this moment of interaction. That's true generative websites. We combine context with AI agents so that marketers can reach the right audience with the right personalized message, all while still adhering to Heathrow's strict brand governance. Now, Heathrow Airport's CMO is preparing for an executive meeting, and they want to understand a quick glance into their brand visibility. So they go to the Adobe Brand Visibility dashboard, which has clear insights into brand visibility, competitive intelligence, and where they're positioned in the market today. And it's not just on their owned platforms, but third-party platforms too. With all this key insight in a single place, executives can stop reacting and start leading. You'll discover new opportunities, catch risks early, and see how your content is performing across both AI and humans in the moments that matter. Adobe is defining the new era of the agentic web, powered by brand visibility. In a world driven by AI agents, visibility leads to relevance, and relevance leads to growth. And no one else is doing this in a single platform, and that's how Adobe will help your brands win in the agentic web. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Give it up for Ed. I love all of this new brand visibility data. If you haven't seen what's coming in from SEMrush, be sure to go to the brand visibility demo over in the community pavilion. It's really incredible. No one else is bringing discovery, automation, and conversation together in a single system aside from Adobe. And that is how your brand wins on the agentic web. As you saw in the demo, we're bringing some incredible new capabilities to market this year with Adobe Brand Visibility, as you just saw, made generally available just last month. It's a truly exciting time at Adobe. So now let's turn to our second pillar, customer engagement. This is about connecting your customer data, your insights, your audiences, and your journeys to deliver personalized experiences across every channel in real time. And here's the shift. For years, humans operated the software. Now, AI is helping operate the software while you set the goals and govern the outcomes. So if you're unfamiliar, Ulta Beauty is the largest specialty beauty retailer in the United States, and they're expanding their presence internationally to the UK, Ireland, Mexico, and the Middle East. They've recently deployed Adobe Journey Optimizer, Real-Time CDP, and Customer Journey Analytics in order to support their over 44 million loyalty members. To show you how Ulta Beauty can use CX Enterprise Coworker, please welcome to the stage, Ariel.
Thank you, Eric. First, I'd like to thank Ulta Beauty for letting Adobe use their brand for this vision demo, and to let you know that all the data and workflows you see are fictitious. Today, I'm going to play the part of a marketer at Ulta, and I'm going to show you how my small team of just a couple of people are able to collaborate with agents and create a global campaign in just minutes based on external signals. Check it out. Meet my CX Enterprise Coworker. It's more than just a tool or a dashboard. It's my captain who works on my behalf 24/7. It gathers insights from 3 different sources. Firstly, Adobe's applications such as audiences from real-time customer data platform, journeys designed in Adobe Journey Optimizer, and insights captured in Customer Journey Analytics. Secondly, Ulta's own internal systems, such as inventory data, operational data, and internal analytics. Thirdly, external sources such as social media trends, competitor data, and what's currently going on. The boundaries between all of these sources are blurred, and the coworker is able to move fluidly across them because Adobe is able to connect any AI technology to deliver exceptional customer service. Aside from this, Ulta also has access to a whole squad of different agents. If the coworker is my captain, think of agents as the rest of the players on the field. Some are built by Adobe, and some are built by Ulta Beauty. And I can see here that Ulta has built this social media agent. Let's take a look at what it does. It constantly scans for viral trends for the coworker to capitalize on based on audiences and journeys from CX Enterprise. And in here, I can also see all of the agentic workflows that this agent is part of. Think of agentic workflows as defined business processes that combines Adobe's agents, your own agents, and data, services, models, and know-how, and combine them into a game plan. Let's now take a closer look at what this workflow does. First, the social media agent triggers and detects signals to act on. Secondly, it deploys Adobe's tools across campaigns. And there's also experience decisioning to determine the right journeys and content to send out, and also a custom governance agent for compliance checks and seeking appropriate approval. Currently, I can see that only the UK is set to approve requests, which is not quite right. So I'm going to ask Coworker to update the approval chain to include the US and APAC. And the Coworker updates my workflow immediately. Automation only ever happens within the bounds of governance that Ulta sets. So later that evening, when I'm off work and fast asleep, something is brewing on social media. A a beauty influencer drops a video recommending using 2 Ulta products together. And it goes absolutely viral. Check it out.
I started using these 2 products together and my skin has never looked better. The combo is everything. You have to get both.
And within hours, this video garners over 4 million views. But even though I'm fast asleep, this is not going to be a missed opportunity because the coworker who never sleeps immediately springs into action. It gets a signal from the social media agent and reaches into Adobe Real-Time Customer Data Platform and gathers intelligence on who has purchased or expressed interest in these products, also clustering the right audiences and suppressing conflicting ones. And then it uses Adobe Firefly Creative Production and Adobe Journey Optimizer to determine the best offer, content, and message to send out based on previous performances. Now that the plan is fully outlined, the coworker also simulates projected outcomes and confirms that all governance rules are met before taking further action. And because the UK team is currently offline, it contacts the US marketing group instead. The US marketing team, who are at their desk right now, quickly reviews and approves it. Now the campaign is launched across email, push, and paid social in just minutes. It's truly amazing to see the shift from manual to autonomous for CX Enterprise. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on my morning alarm. So when I wake up in the morning, what could have been a massive missed opportunity is instead a glowing success report. I'm able to scroll back on all the progress that has been made while I was fast asleep and see all of the decisions and actions that has been taken in collaboration by coworker and my team. Thank you, CX coworker. How are my campaigns performing right now? It gathers Adobe's intelligence, Ulta's inventory data, and external signals, and connect them all together with this third-party visualizer for this performance view. This shows AI working on top of everything you've given it access to. I can see that across EMEA, most of the markets are tracking quite well, but it seems like the Central European cluster is lagging behind. Let's see what's going on over there. So coworker is able to identify that the DACH cluster is behind the UK and Southern Europe because it's lagging in trend velocity. It's also making a suggestion to move the push notification window to something else. That sounds like a great idea. Let's proceed. All done for me. And coworker also suggests that I add this as an institutional knowledge so that Ulta can benefit from the learnings of this viral moment moving forward. That also sounds like a great idea. Let's add that as a skill. This is a full day's worth of work done, and most of it was done while I was offline and fast asleep. So later on my commute home, I pull up Claude on my phone. And inside of Claude, the CX Enterprise is fully connected because Adobe is able to meet me wherever I am. Give me a recap of my day with next steps. Claude pulls up summaries from my meetings and emails and gives me the highlights and action items to act on, while the coworker provides inventory alert, performance data from customer journey analytics, and also recommends next steps to take. It's recommending me to start discovery for 2 new real-time customer data platform audiences for campaign expansion. That sounds like a great next step. Let's start discovery on campaign expansion. Great, I'm looking forward to seeing all the new progress tomorrow morning when I log back into work. So let's all just take a step back and look at what just happened here. In the old world, it could have taken days for us to act on this viral moment, and by the time we actioned, the moment could have well passed. But now, with Adobe CX Enterprise Coworker, It's able to identify triggers to act on, pull in the right agents and people to action this campaign, all while I was offline. And on my commute home, it met me exactly where I was on Claude in my phone. This is the promise of Adobe CX Enterprise. The moment never has to wait. Back to you, Eric.
Thank you, Ariel. That was wonderful. I love it. Humans govern, AI operates. That is really the whole idea that we're sharing here today. An Adobe CX Enterprise Coworker, it's not just a dashboard, it's a teammate. It works across Adobe and your own agents, and it reaches into your CRM, your ERP, your cloud data warehouses, your databases, and brings outside signals into Adobe-powered personalization, and it does it in real time. You decide just how much autonomy to give it. The expanded real-time customer profile, now it brings in rich, unstructured data across conversational intent, audio, video, documents into real-time personalization, first through Brand Concierge, and soon across every surface. And that brings us to our final pillar, the content supply chain. Now, as Luke mentioned earlier, marketers are under real pressure to deliver more campaigns, more content, and more personalized experiences faster, more efficiently, and with value more than ever before. A content supply chain brings together the people, the tools, the work streams in order to plan, create, produce, deliver, and measure content. And every organization has one, whether you know it or not. Most are disconnected, and they simply can't keep up with demand. So the shift that we're making is from manual production to human-led, agent-accelerated. You set the vision, the agents handle the grind. To show us this in action, please welcome Beth Ann.
Thanks, Eric. And thanks to ServiceNow for letting us use their brand today. All the data and assets you're going to see are fictitious, but that's just to protect the brand's privacy. ServiceNow is starting a new campaign, Put AI to Work for People. Using Adobe Gen Studio and Adobe Brand Intelligence, they're able to scale all the content they need to hit every single channel. I'll be demonstrating today how these two tools enable two personas, a marketer and a creative, to work seamlessly together across every single step of the content supply chain. That's from creation of a brief through to generating assets, and finally to activation. So let's take a look at the demo. I'm going to start off as a campaign manager. I need to get my campaign brief up, so I'm simply going to prompt here in this conversational interface. Now, the campaign brief actually lives in Workfront, but because all of the Gen Studio applications are integrated, I can leverage the data from this one single interface. We can see our campaign overview here, and as I scroll down, I see all of the various audiences that I need to create assets for. Typically, creating all of these assets for different audiences would be such a timely event. But now, with Gen Studio, it makes it simple and easy. I'm now going to jump into my project plan, because somebody has just given me a last-minute request for us to test a new channel, ChatGPT Ads. Now, good news, I can just add a prompt, and that is going to update my project plan. Using some intelligence, it's going to add the same resources and the same dates, and this is going to save me precious minutes. Those last-minute tasks are no longer a little annoyance. Now, we're going to use the same agentic capability to generate a creative brief. This is super powerful because it's going to take all of my enterprise context, my campaign brief, and that project plan I just showed you. And it's going to put this all together in a really detailed brief, including every single deliverable, that's every single asset that needs to be created by my creative team. Now we've got that creative brief, let's switch over to the creative view. Now, as a creative, I actually work in Firefly Creative Production for Enterprise. And as you can see, it's got a similar conversational interface.
I'm going to just, first of all, pull up that creative brief that we just made. And then I'm going to prompt the agent here to help me write a plan of how to actually create all of those assets and variations. What it's going to do is it's going to scan that creative brief, and it's going to pull out a list of all of the assets that I need, how many of them, sizes, but it's also going to give me a plan of how I achieve this. So it's telling me here that I need to source some assets. I then need to have some automated workflows to help me create the assets. And then finally, we're going to assemble everything together. This looks great, so I'm going to go approve and start. And the first thing that I'm now going to have to do is select those assets. So taking a look at this, I'm going to focus on solo personas. I'm going to remove that group shot and use these assets. And now I've got my workflows. So the agent has actually provided me with 2 pre-configured workflows, one for paid media and one for banner ads. Let's take a preview of what these look like. Now, this might look quite complex and overwhelming, but actually, it's really simple and easy for us to configure and customize this. Each of these nodes that you see on screen is a step in the workflow. Each of these can be dragged and dropped onto this canvas, or you can use a simple prompt just to tell it what you want to do. And all of the actions are added in this panel here. So I can see all of the different generative actions that I can do, including video, 3D, and much, much more. Now we've previewed our workflows, let's run them and see what actually happens. This is where Adobe Brand Intelligence skills kick in. Our instruct to assemble skill is looking at all of our brand guidelines, all of our channel requirements. It is cropping, scaling, and visually harmonizing all of our assets together based on those on-brand rules that we've got in the system. Next, I've got a little bit more confidence in what's being created because Adobe Brand Intelligence has a validate skill. It's going to check my homework. It's going to look over all of those outputs and say, does this actually meet my compliance and on-brand guidelines? This is Adobe Brand Intelligence instructing Firefly Creative Production for Enterprise to assemble the assets. And now we have all of these editable, layered assets that I can use wherever I want. Now, on-brand content is great, but what we love even more than on-brand content is on-brand content that our customers love. And the great news is using our predict engagement skill, Adobe Brand Intelligence can be asked which creative is going to resonate with one specific buying group, in this instance, our IT buying group. What is going to happen now is using the predict engagement skill, we're going to run synthetic audiences, testing every single creative against these audiences. These are all grounded in a deep understanding of your customer segments. And in real time, you can see here how our customers would resonate with this creative. This is giving us insights in minutes rather than months. Typically, you would have to publish these creatives to understand how your customers are going to resonate with them. And not only is it telling me which creative is the best, but it's also telling me why. Again, this type of insight could never be done before. You put your campaign live and you'd hope for the best and you'd look at things afterwards. Now we can be predictive and work ahead. I've just shown you there 3 skills, all powered by Adobe Brand Intelligence. Our instruct to assemble skill, which works to create all of those different asset variations at scale and on brand. The validate skill that's really focused on making sure everything looks and feels highly polished and compliant. And thirdly, the predict skill, which is going to give us insights before we've even activated our assets. Now we've got all of our content, I can switch back to my marketer role. Here in the Gen Studio interface, again, you can see all of the assets that we've just created. And the great news about this Gen Studio interface is not only is it applicable for me as a marketer, but if I'm working with partners and agencies, they also need to be able to access these assets. they can also actually bring their own agents and tools within this connected agentic workspace. So everything is done from one place. Right now, I have one task, though, and that is to get these ads live. So again, I'm going to simply prompt in this box and hit activate across all paid media channels. What it's doing now is taking all of those content pieces and mapping it against all of the ad sets, all of the channels, and everything, all the placements that I need across all of the various ad channels. And we can see here that every ad looks ready to activate, so let's activate them. I'm going to hit looks good, go ahead, and within minutes, we have taken a huge amount of manual work down to simple agentic functionality. You have just seen the agentic content supply chain in action using Adobe Gen Studio and Adobe Brand Intelligence. You've seen how it works for ServiceNow, so think about it. How might it work for you? Back to Eric.
Thank you, Beth Ann. I love how ServiceNow has truly optimized that content supply chain. And wow, so much innovation to help you to get grips with it all. Adobe Brand Intelligence, that system that learns from your approvals, your reactions, your comments, your feedback through 3 skills, and you just heard about them. Instruct to assemble, validate, and predicting performance before you ever publish. Plus, we heard about Adobe Firefly Creative Production. Now with our 3D digital twin, thousands of on-brand variants and physical products kept pixel perfect with no specialist hardware. The best part, all of these are available today. So let me bring it all back together. 3 pillars, I'm excited about all 3, I hope you are too. 1 system, brand visibility, customer engagement, and the content supply chain. Show up, get chosen, engage in real time, and power it all with on-brand content, all done at scale. We've only been able to show you a small slice of this morning, so you'll see even more in our strategy keynotes, in our breakouts this afternoon, as well as working with our experts and our partners over at the demo stations, and don't miss these activations. With that, I'd like to welcome Claire Louise back to the stage.
Thank you, Eric, and our demonstration presenters. A round of applause. That was a tough gig, so well done. So all that remains is me to say thank you. Thank you to Siobhan from Sky. Thank you to our brands, Heathrow, Ulta Beauty, and also ServiceNow. Thank you for sharing your story with us today and making it real. So, what's next, London? Very exciting. It's your turn to go and explore, to build, and also to learn. We really want you to head over to the Customer Pavilion over here, somewhere over here. Customer Pavilion, where you'll have a look at Dick's Sporting Goods, where you can create your own brand concierge with a new trainer to up your game. Also, take a photo with the Premier League trophy, once-in-a-lifetime experience for those that are football fans in the room. And also, get hands-on and build our agentic AI agents and bring your own agents to the party at our Agentic Marketing Garage. So, we've got a lot organized for you today, a lot more to come. Then you're going to learn through the breakout sessions, where we go a lot deeper with brands such as NatWest, Lloyds, TSB, and SAP. So also, we want to share what's most important for you today. We need you to take this back to your organization. Share it. Don't leave with another pilot. Leave with a plan to scale. And bear in mind, the brands that lead the next decade are being decided now. Make sure yours is one of them. Thank you, Summit London.